Hello, this is Dazzling One, and this week I just want to thank all of you who have wished me a happy birthday. Today, I thank Yahweh for 22 years of life. So I'm pretty happy in that regard, but this week's topic is one that's not a very happy one, and that is how our reality is merging with the supernatural, and we're seeing more of a nightmare transpiring. And I'm not just talking about the things you see on TV, like these horrid elections and World War III and the distractions with all of these shootings and police brutality cases. I'm talking about the supernatural this week. So I want to start off by mentioning this new augmented reality game that was launched called Night Terror of all things. Night terrors are something on this channel that I've discussed with you over and over again. I've been a victim of night terrors from time to time. Even while doing spiritual warfare, I'm attacked, so I don't know why anyone in the right mind would want to entertain night terrors. But this game allows the player to, like Pokemon Go, make their home into a scary movie. Well, Pokemon Go doesn't make your home into a scary movie, you just catch Pokemon. But I saw a few clips on YouTube of people playing the game, and it made some strange noises, and to me the whole thing is kind of stupid, but still, I do believe that they're dealing with real spirits, and if they're not careful, they will attract real demons to them. Another story I wanted to talk about, since we're on the topic of augmented reality games, was the woman who claimed to have gotten raped by a Pokemon Go game character. I know that there is a such thing as incubuses and succubuses, or spirit husbands, spirit wives, or marine spirits. If you don't know what that is, I suggest you'll get past videos or just look up what they are. But I also think there is a such thing as people playing these games so long that they lose touch with reality. Either way, it's not a pleasant thing, and it's crazy how these games are producing these kinds of stories. I remember when Pokemon Go was first launched, how there were stories of people getting robbed or crashing their car because they were too distracted. Another thing I wanted to bring up was The Conjuring, and how there are people who are getting possessed while watching it, and I saw a picture that circulated on the internet of one man who claims that this cross appeared in his mirror after he watched it. Whether an elaborate hoax or Photoshop, still I wouldn't fool with it. I used to watch horror movies. Actually, I take that back. When I was really young, my parents kept me away. Well, my mom at least. My dad watched it, but my mom and my grandmother, being devout followers of Yahweh, they didn't let me watch it. But then, as I got older, I got to see some of the stuff. I had already experienced sleep paralysis long before I was exposed to any type of horror films. I didn't know anything about any of the stuff that I talk about now before the age of 13, which I know that's still pretty young. But once I started dealing with this stuff myself, then I saw, oh wow, that a lot of these horror movies are based on things that I go through at night. And so from that, I used to watch some horror films, but some of this stuff is to the point now, it's just so dark, I can just feel something's not right on it. Like, I was looking at the new Ouija movie that they're coming out with, and it just looks really dark. I don't think I'd want to expose myself to that, because I do believe they're conjuring real spirits. That's why they tell you the name of the spirit, and they scare you to generate that fear to feed the spirit. I watched It Follows last weekend because it was on TV, and I have to say that, as I was talking about earlier, I believe it's based on incubus, succubus, marine spirits. I mean, the whole concept of sexually transmitted spirits is a sexually transmitted demon, which is just what I've discussed millions of times on this channel, and there's plenty of videos on the marine kingdom. It's a very real thing. When you sleep with someone, you're not just laying down and transferring fluids and maybe potentially knocking someone up or risking an STD or an STI, but you could be risking getting what they have on them on you. So I got off topic there, but something else I wanted to bring up, because it's just weird, but I remember a couple of years back when I started on YouTube, I was sent a video by a channel, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of this channel off the top of my head right now, but he had a video, I believe it was a he, it could be a she, so again, I'm sorry, but in the video, they showed that a keyboard could actually be the same thing as a Ouija board, and I was like, no, that's not possible, but the video actually did a good job of showing you how, just like a Ouija board, you use a keyboard to ask the internet questions. I know it's a stretch, but it's interesting. Another interesting concept when we talk about our everyday objects we use in regards to technology being used for the occult is how we have black screens for TVs or a phone screen or a computer screen or a tablet screen. It can be a black mirror or a scrying mirror, which people use in the occult. And I didn't even know what a scrying mirror is because I'm not well read on divination or anything. But apparently a scrying mirror is the crystals that they use, or the mirror, just like the mirror, the magic mirror now, since the Mandela effect has shown us that it was a magic mirror on the wall. Pretty much is based on a scrying mirror. So I think it's interesting that our device screens could potentially be used in that for that purpose. And the interesting thing about it to me is I remember when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I believe it's 10 years. I'm 22 today, so I'm like, man, I've gotten a lot older really quick. But I remember standing in the kitchen and I looked out into the living room where the TV was, and I saw a shadow, like a shadow person, and it leapt from the window into the TV. And I thought that was the strangest thing. This is why I'm realizing, just like Yeshua said, how the lamp of the body is the eye, and basically we have these eye gates. And this is why what we see is so important. This is why we shouldn't be filling ourselves with pornography and all this other type of garbage, because it does get inside of us, and if we're not careful, we can have it in our spirit. But again, I'm on a tangent. When I saw that, it made me realize, well, I'm sure there's some people who use this Hollywood, a holly tree, and then the wood from it is how witches cast their spells. So of course Hollywood's all one big network of witches at the top. They're putting messages in it, many times occultic or just harmful messages, and then we're staring at these black screens, watching and waiting to have the message delivered to us because we want to be entertained, and our brains are switching from alpha to beta waves because we're just in this dreamlike state, and then out of that black mirror comes whatever's on that screen. It's crazy when you think about it like that. The other thing that I wanted to mention, since I'm on the topic of portals and spirits, and it's been a long time since I've done a supernatural video, is how all of these movies that have come out, action movies, are all about portals opening in New York City. The Ghostbusters, the Suicide Squad, and many others that have come out are all about portals opening in the middle of New York City. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if such a thing one day didn't take place, but they're showing us how somewhere in some city, New York would be a perfect city given it's the largest city in the United States, that something is going to enter into our world. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there is a black moon on Saturday. So the first thing I saw when I logged on to Facebook today was black moon trending, and I was wondering what the heck, black moon? I remember last year's blood moon. But apparently this black moon falls on Rosh Hashanah, and I know some people don't agree with celebrating it, or they think there's no need to it, or they think that the dates are off. I observe the holidays from the Bible. I know some people don't care, or they think the law has been fulfilled so they don't, but I observe Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, and Passover and all the others. And so I just find it interesting that, like the blood moon last year during the Feast of Tabernacles, I believe, because it was on my birthday last year, that we have Rosh Hashanah and the new year is being brought in with this black moon. Now, some people have made apocalypse predictions, and of course the mainstream has come out and said, don't listen to these conspiracy nuts, it's just pretty much a new moon. But either way, it's interesting with everything that's going on in the world. Another strange thing that just makes this world seem like we're living in one giant nightmare is these clowns that have been terrorizing people across the nation. In more than 10 states, according to USA Today, the reports of clowns haunting people. Yesterday, September 27th, someone reported seeing a car full of clowns, possibly armed, driving through a Pennsylvania college campus. In Wisconsin on August 1st, reports of Gags, the Green Bay clown, disturbed Wisconsin residents. Later, the man who set up a Facebook account which fueled conversation about Gags' sightings came forward saying it all was part of an independent horror film coming out around Halloween. Good cover story, but why does this keep happening? In South Carolina, reports of clowns terrorizing people in South Carolina started in mid-August. One woman reported seeing a middle-aged white man in clown-like facial makeup and red hair standing outside the laundromat. The woman told police the clown stared at her as she walked out. but didn't speak or follow her. In another report, children reported clowns were trying to lure them into the woods with money. Residents of the Fleetwood Manor apartments in Greensville, South Carolina, reportedly received letters from property management encouraging them to abide by the apartment's 10 p.m. curfew and not to let their children walk alone at night. Obviously, this is the type of claim that we need to take serious, whether it's valid or not, said Master Deputy Ryan Flood with the Greensville County Sheriff's Office. Deputies have not received any recent reports or arrested anyone. In North Carolina, on September 4th, children reported a clown was trying to lure them into the woods in Winston-Salem neighborhood. According to two kids, the man had on white overalls, white gloves, red shoes with red, bushy hair, a white face, and a red nose. They told police he offered them treats if they would come into the woods. Police said an adult heard the man but did not see him. A few days later, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous call that a clown was outside of an elementary school, but it turned out the report was fake. In Georgia, LaGrange police in Georgia said it had received several calls from clowns in wooded areas trying to talk to children. At one point, a middle school was under a soft lockdown because of creepy clown reports. Deb Myers with the Trout County School System told LaGrange Daily News. Georgia police arrested two people September 14th for calling 911 and allegedly making false claims about clowns trying to lure children into a van. Officials didn't find any clowns. Two arrested because of false creepy clown reports in Georgia. September 20th, a Facebook page was created. It has since been taken down, fueling fears in Georgia. The page said clowns would be driving to local elementary, middle, and high schools to abduct children. LaGrange Police Department obtained warrants and arrested 4 people they believed are responsible for the threats. Mississippi. A clown call made September 21st in Tachula, Mississippi, turned out to be true. Police Chief Kenneth Hampton said he saw someone wearing a mask, a multicolored wig, and overalls around 11 p.m. on Wednesday. The person who was carrying what looked like a machete ran away after seeing the patrol vehicle. The person in the clown outfit has not been seen since. In Maryland, the Salisbury Police Department of Maryland recently investigated 2 reports of clown sightings. Callers said that they saw 3 people dressed as clowns hiding in bushes and jumping out to scare people. On September 25th, all 3 were reported to be wearing clown masks with orange and blue hair. Officers weren't able to locate any clowns. In Virginia, the Augusta County Sheriff's Office has received numerous calls regarding clown sightings in Fort Defiance, Virginia. One report said several people were dressed as clowns in a woodland area. According to Virginia Code Section 18.2 through 422, a person over the age of 16 is prohibited from wearing a mask, hood, or other device to cover or conceal the identity of the wearer. A violation of this code section is a Class 6 felony, which is punishable by 1 or 5 years of incarceration, a fine of not more than $2,500 according to a release. Either or both may apply if convicted of this offense, Sheriff Donald Smith said. Sheriff warns of possible clown sightings in county. Florida. A woman reported seeing 2 clowns last weekend near Victoria Park, Florida. She said the clowns were staring at her. It's unclear if they were trying to scare her or harm her, but police issued an alert to surrounding agencies and searched the wooded area and railroad tracks near US 1. The clowns were not located. The problem is that someone dressed like a clown could scare someone, and there's a possibility you could end up with someone getting shot, said Mike Bandish of the Palm Bay Police Department. A person could think that they're about to get robbed. Pennsylvania. This week, students at York College in southern Pennsylvania reported seeing people dressed as clowns, both on campus and off. One anonymous tip reported on Monday that there was a car full of clowns, possibly armed with weapons. Officials did not find any clowns. In Pottsville, police were investigating other clowns who were seen yelling at children. A girl told a TV station that a clown had chased her and her friends and later threw a broken stick at them from the woods. In Ohio, around 2 p.m. on September 27th, a woman called police in Lancaster, Ohio, saying she saw someone dressed as a clown holding a large kitchen knife. Police talked with witnesses at the scene who said they saw 2 people dressed as clowns in a gold suit with a balloon and another in all black. Officers checked but were unable to locate the clowns. In Tennessee, 2 Nashville metro schools went under a soft lockdown following a social media threat, reportedly involving a clown, according to information from school officials and a Metro Nashville dispatcher. Authorities said the threats weren't credible. So those are just a few examples of sightings of clowns that the USA Today reported on. This whole clown incident is really bizarre. Is there a cult of clowns? Do people notice one isolated incident and decide to mirror it? What are we dealing with here? Either way, clowns have never been anything most people were a fan of. Some say they're based off of demons. I don't really know, but the fact that they're trying to lure children, threatening to abduct them, scaring people is not a good thing. And it's just more proof of how people these days are losing their minds and how this world is becoming more like one giant nightmare. But again, I always say, don't be afraid. Remember to trust in Yahweh. And if you ever get afraid and you haven't seen the video already, I suggest you check out my video I did on the spirit of fear. But I'd like to thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week. Yahweh bless you.